G'day guys, my name is Michael Church, aka Zookeeper Mick, and welcome to another episode of Wild Kids where we check out the animals that call our zoo home. Today we're going to be learning about snakes, so make sure you stick around, and if you like the video, subscribe to our channel. Now, snakes are absolutely beautiful animals, but some people are petrified of snakes, and I was one of them. Before I started this job, I was absolutely terrified of snakes. I think my fear came from my grandparents. They were farmers and they always taught me that snakes were evil animals, but I soon learned that snakes are beautiful animals and they are really important for our ecosystem as well. Snakes play a really important role within our ecosystem. They help control things like mice and rats. Without snakes, we would be overrun with rodents. Now, snakes have quite a wide variety of a diet, depending on what sort of snake it is to what they eat. But snakes, as a general rule of thumb, will eat things like mice, rats, rabbits, birds, eggs, frogs. Some snakes will eat feral cats, whatever they can fit in their mouth. Snakes don't eat every single day like we do. We feed our snakes at our zoo once a week, but there are snakes that can last 8, 9, 10 months without eating a single thing at all. Now, when the temperature drops, especially in Victoria where I live, snakes will do something called hibernation. Basically, what that is when the temperature gets too cold for a snake to be active, they will go and hide until the sun comes back out. When a snake is in hibernation, they can still come out in the winter if the weather is right. I was out cutting gum for my koala one day and I was walking along and it was 14 degrees. The sun was shining on this rock and there was this tiger snake sitting on it. So even though the temperature's cold, the basking spot from the sun can still be nice and warm and you'll get your snakes out in the winter. So some snakes are quite slow creatures, some snakes are faster than others, and when it comes to striking or biting their prey, the same rule applies. We have some snakes here that are quite slow strikers. We have some snakes living in Victoria that can strike their prey within a second. That's pretty impressive. All right, so we're gonna meet some snakes from our zoo now. So I'm just gonna run into the reptile room. I'm gonna grab a few out. We're gonna bring them out here and I'm gonna show you guys how beautiful these creatures actually are. So this here is our beautiful diamond python. His name is Monty, terrible name. But these guys are amazing snakes. We can see they get the name the diamond python because they have these beautiful diamond shapes all through their scales or their body. This particular snake is nocturnal, so they come out at night. They go a little bit undetected being nocturnal. No one ever really sees them. And they are found on the coastal regions of New South Wales, and they're also found here in Victoria, but they're an endangered species in Victoria. So the diamond python will predominantly eat things like lizards. As it grows up, it will eat small mammals as well. And these guys can reach sizes of 2 to 3 meters long. All right guys, so that's Monty. We're gonna move on to our next snake now. I'll be back in a second. The next snake I'm gonna show you guys today, his name is Ollie and he is our olive python. He's only quite a young snake and he's a bit of a handful as well. I do have to be careful with him because these guys here, they can have a little bit of attitude. I've got another olive python which is quite a lot bigger and I don't want to get it out. So olive pythons are quite a beautiful snake. They can get absolutely massive. They are the second largest snake living here in Australia. As a young snake like this, these guys like to climb up things and as they get too big, they will come down to the ground and spend most of their time, what's he doing? Spend most of their time down on the ground. Now they have got quite a plain pattern to them. We can see the last one had beautiful diamonds all through it. This guy here, look at him climbing. This guy here, he's got these really dull sort of grey colour on the top and underneath he's sort of got a creamy white belly. Olive pythons living up in trees, they will consume things like birds and eggs. As they come down to the ground, they will eat things like small mammals. I've seen a photo of an olive python eating a crocodile. That's pretty impressive and that's a big snake. All right, we're gonna pop this guy back now before he bites me and we're gonna move on to our next snake for today. All right, so the next snake we have here today is called a Stimson's python and his name is Barry. Being a python, these guys lay eggs and their group of eggs is called a clutch. They can lay anywhere from 5 to 15 eggs in a clutch. The mother snake will coil around her eggs and she'll incubate them for about 55 days before those eggs hatch out and slither off on their own. These Stimson's pythons are definitely not the biggest snake in Australia. The maximum size they can get to is roughly around 1 meter. All right, we're gonna chuck this guy back and we're gonna move on to our last snake for today. Goodness me. All right. So the last snake we're going to talk about today, his name is Peter. We call him Peter Pumpkin Eater, and he's got a pretty obvious name. These guys are actually called black-headed pythons because they have that beautiful black head. They're also called a tar pot snake as well because it looks like they've dipped their head in a tar pot. Now, Peter weighs about 16 kilo. He's strangling me. Peter weighs about 16 kilo. He's quite a big snake. He's the third largest snake we have here in Australia. They're actually quite unique though because they do come out at night and they live underground in burrows during the day. They also don't really eat things like mice and rats as much as other snakes. These guys rely mainly on eating other reptiles, things like other snakes, lizards, and also amphibians, so like frogs as well. So the black-headed python is quite a large snake, as you can see. These guys here can get up to 3 meters long. Peter's just about 3 meters now, and he weighs just over 16 kilos. The black-headed pythons, they come out at night and they use their black head for an advantage. They use it to help them camouflage and sneak up on other animals. One of the other reasons why these guys have a black head is so they can warm their bodies up. It's called thermoregulation. So what they do during the day when they're meant to be asleep, they'll pop their head outside of their burrow and the color black will attract the heat of the sun. So they warm up really, really fast and they can use that heat to help digest their food. All right guys, that's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed meeting some of the animals that call our zoo home. We might do another video on snakes later on down the track. So if you do want to see that, make sure you subscribe to our channel. Peter's trying to strangle me at the moment, so we're gonna put him away. But if you ever did see a snake, guys, just remember, don't be scared of it, but just remain calm. That's the most important thing. And do not try and catch it or move it yourself. Call a professional snake catcher and they'll come and deal with it. That's what they're trained for.